During Japan's feudal era called the Sengoku Jidai, or Warring States period, there was a lot of fighting between the 15th and 17th centuries. Instead of being united, Japan was divided into many villages and territories controlled by different warlords. In Inuyasha, they show this time with a lot of old stories and religious ideas. One big part of these stories is yokai, which are demons. They come in many forms like Big Oni, water creatures called kappa, foxes that can change shape, and even dog like yokai called unagami. The strongest of them are the dai yokai, which are smart and can even look like humans. Usually, yokai live in chaos and only care about surviving, with humans seen as weak. But some dai yokai, like Toga, the great dog general, are different. He fell in love with a human woman named Izuyoi and even married her. Living in Musashi, Toga was powerful and fought off scary demons to protect Japan. He got a special sword called the Sanga that had a dragon spirit inside. To keep it safe, he kept it with him. Toga had two sons, one with another dog demon named Sessamaru, and another with Izuyoi named Inuyasha, who was a half-demon. Toga gave Izuyoi a special robe made from the fire rat's fur to protect her. He also wanted a way to destroy the Sanga if it ever caused trouble, so he asked a demon blacksmith named Totosei to make a sword from his fang. The result was the Tessaiga, a powerful sword that could defeat many demons at once. The Tessaiga, a sword usually calm and small, can grow really big and has special powers that Toga learned during his fights. One of these powers, the Maido Zangetsuha, was so dangerous that Toga asked Totosei to make another sword to control it. This new sword, the Tenseiga, could save 100 lives with one hit. It wasn't for hurting people, but for stopping spirits from hurting others. Toga used the Tessaiga to fight a dragon demon called Ryuko Suze. He managed to trap the dragon, but got hurt badly. Meanwhile, a samurai named Takemaru fell in love with Toga's wife, Izuyoi, and tried to take her away. He hurt Izuyoi while she was giving birth to Inuyasha. Izuyoi died, and Takemaru died fighting Toga, who saved Izuyoi with the Tenseiga before dying under his collapsing palace. Inuyasha grew up with Izuyoi, feeling alone because others didn't like him for being a half-demon. Sessamaru, on the other hand, thought Toga was weak for loving humans. Toga planned to give his two swords to his sons. He gave the Tessaiga to Inuyasha to show Sessamaru the importance of life and gave Sessamaru the Tenseiga, but he put a barrier on the Tessaiga so only Inuyasha could use it, not full-blooded demons who might want its power for destruction. To keep the Tessaiga safe from bad people, it was put in Toga's tomb, hidden inside a black pearl placed in Inuyasha's right eye. The Tsunga, another powerful sword, was sealed deep in the Bone Eater's well, guarded by its sheath spirit, Saya. When Inuyasha was about 10 years old, he came back from being attacked by a demon to find his mom had died. She left him two things, the fire-wrought robe for protection and her lipstick. Without his dad's sword, Inuyasha felt weak in fights, having to hide from other demons until he grew up. Even then, he had to be careful on the night of the new moon when his powers went away, making him just like a regular human, feeling rejected and wanting to be stronger. Inuyasha heard about a special thing called the Shakan Jewel that could make him a full demon. This jewel was made when a powerful warrior named Midoriko fused with a huge dragon demon when she died. Midoriko could purify demon souls, making them weak, which made a lot of demons mad at her. During a big fight, Midoriko and the dragon died, but their souls fought on inside the jewel. The jewel makes whoever has it stronger, but it can be good or bad depending on who has it. For a long time, lots of demons and humans wanted the jewel's power. Near where Midoriko was buried, there was a group called the Yokai Taijia who fought demons to protect people. Their leader, Shako, fought a big centipede demon who had the jewel. He beat the centipede but found out the jewel was tainted by evil, so they had to keep an eye on it to make sure it stayed safe. The demon slayers gave the Shakan jewel to Lady Kikyo, a priestess who had powers like Midoriko. Kikyo and her sister Kaide used to travel around fighting demons. Their fame made a dark priestess named Tsubaki jealous, so she cursed Kikyo. The curse said that if Kikyo ever fell in love, it would be bad for her. Inuyasha found out where the jewel was and went to Kikyo's village to get it. He tried a few times, but Kikyo's powers stopped him each time. Instead of being mad at her, Inuyasha started to like her. He noticed how she smelled like blood, and she started taking baths so he could watch her from far away when a big centipede demon attacked Kaide. Inuyasha saved her, they fought the centipede together, and the villagers sealed it away. This brought Inuyasha and Kikyo closer, and they fell in love. Inuyasha gave up on the jewel to be with her, giving her his mom's makeup to show he meant it. Because of the curse, Kikyo got weaker as she loved Inuyasha more. One time, her arrow didn't work right, and it hurt Kaide. Kikyo knew she would keep getting weaker if she stayed with Inuyasha, so she decided to use the jewel to make him fully human. This would free her from having to protect the jewel, and they could live a normal life together. But there was someone who didn't want that to happen. Onigumo, a bandit who wanted the jewel, tricked Risatsu, the leader of a bandit group, into attacking Kikyo. He didn't tell them Inuyasha was protecting her. Risatsu attacked and got hurt, but he survived. Onigumo got badly burned in a fire set by Risatsu, and Risatsu threw him off a cliff in revenge. After finding Onigumo badly hurt, Kikyo felt sorry for him because spending time with Inuyasha had made her more caring. She helped him secretly, and he grew to care for her too. But even though he loved her, Onigumo's injuries kept him stuck. He offered himself to demons to heal him. Like the man who loved Midoriko, the demons combined into one body, making Naraku a powerful half-demon spider. Naraku wanted the Shakan jewel for himself, and he wanted to make Inuyasha and Kikyo fight each other. When Kikyo was supposed to give the jewel to Inuyasha, Naraku showed up disguised as Inuyasha and hurt her badly. He even pretended to be Kikyo to make Inuyasha mad at her. Inuyasha, feeling betrayed, stole the jewel from Kikyo's village, and Kikyo used her last strength to shoot him with a sacred arrow, pinning him to a tree. As she was dying, Kikyo told Kaide to burn her with the jewel to keep it safe. By becoming one with the jewel, Kikyo hoped to get rid of its evil influence, but her mixed feelings for Inuyasha made the jewel act strangely, and it brought her soul back to life along with itself 500 years later in the modern era. Her new name was Kagome Higurashi, named after the light her parents saw from the jewel. Meanwhile, Inuyasha was stuck to the tree, and Naraku caused trouble in feudal Japan. But thanks to time travel, this only lasted about 50 years. When Kagome was 5 years old, her dad died in a car crash, so she, her mom, and her little brother Soda moved in with her grandpa at the Higurashi Shrine. She grew up there until she turned 15. The shrine was right next to the same tree where Inuyasha got pinned 500 years ago. That tree survived into modern times, and it's where Kagome's dad proposed to her mom. There's also the Bone Eater's well nearby, now with a little house around it. Kagome didn't really care about the shrine's history, and thought most of its stories were just made up. But that changed when she went near the well again. The presence of the Shakan jewel woke up Mistress Centipede, who pulled Kagome into the well to get the jewel. Luckily, Kagome and the jewel's purity kept the centipede away for a bit. Turns out, the well was more than just an old hole in the ground. With the jewel, it was a doorway between Kagome's time and the feudal era. So when Mistress Centipede attacked, Kagome ended up in the past. About 50 years after Inuyasha got stuck to the tree, by this time, Naraku had caused a lot of trouble, and people like Kaide had gotten older. But demons like Inuyasha live longer, so he was still young and grumpy when Kagome found him. She stayed in Kaide's village until Mistress Centipede came back to attack again. Kagome ran back to the sacred tree, waking Inuyasha up with what smelled like Kikyo's blood. But Kagome wasn't Kikyo, even though she was her reincarnation. She had her own life and personality. Inuyasha realized this after getting a better sniff. When Mistress Centipede bit Kagome and saw the jewel inside her, transformed and got a lot scarier, Inuyasha thought Kagome might be able to pull out Kikyo's arrow, and she did because she trusted him more than she feared Mistress Centipede. Free from the arrow, Inuyasha kept his promise and fought the centipede, but when Kagome found the piece of flesh with the jewel, Inuyasha threatened to take it for himself. Before she died, Kikyo had a way to control Inuyasha's demon side with the beads of subjugation. A necklace meant to keep him calm. Kaide had those beads and finally put them on Inuyasha to make him behave. Even though they were meant for Kikyo, they listened to Kagome too. Thanks to the beads, Inuyasha couldn't hurt Kagome or take the jewel. But Inuyasha stayed close, waiting for a chance. And it came when the jewel returned, attracting demons to the village. A crow demon stole it, and Inuyasha tore the bird apart. But it kept coming back. Kagome got an idea to use the crow's foot to guide an arrow to the jewel. She shot, and it worked, but it also destroyed the jewel, scattering its pieces across Japan. Each piece made demons stronger, so Kagome accidentally made things worse. Kaide suggested Kagome and Inuyasha work together. Kagome, as Kikyo's reincarnation, could sense and purify the jewel shards, while Inuyasha had the strength to get them back. But they didn't get along well. As they argued, a new demon named Yura, a demon of hair, attacked. She used hair to control people and tried to kill Kagome, but Kagome fell into the Bone Eater's well to escape. After being sent back to her time, Kagome finds her family surprisingly understanding, probably because of her grandpa's stories. Just when she's trying to relax at home, Inuyasha bursts in, trying to bring her back to the past. He follows her into the well, accidentally bringing a strand of Yura's hair with him. Hairs start coming out of the well, so Kagome and Inuyasha go back to the past to stop Yura. They find out Yura won't die from being hurt, so Kagome reveals her true form, a comb hidden in a red skull. While Inuyasha protects her, Kagome destroys the skull, defeating Yura. Meanwhile, Sesshomaru is looking for his dad's tomb to get the Tessaiga. He's with Jaken, a little imp who owes him for saving his village. Jaken uses a staff that shoots fire and water to help search for the tomb. They think Inuyasha might know where it is because the staff has been acting weird since Inuyasha got free from the tree. Inuyasha gets a visit from his dad's servant, a flea demon named Myoga, who's supposed to protect the Tessaiga's hiding place. But even he doesn't know where it is, so he's not much help. When Sesshomaru shows up and starts trouble, Inuyasha falls for a demon's trick. The demon takes the form of Inuyasha's mom to get info about the tomb. Kagome sees through the trick and saves Inuyasha, but Sesshomaru finds out what he needs to know. He takes the black pearl from Inuyasha's eye and they go to the tomb together. At the tomb, Sesshomaru and Inuyasha both try to grab the Tessaiga, but neither can because of their feelings toward humans. Even Kagome tries, and she's the one who pulls it out. She gives it to Inuyasha, but it doesn't work for him in battle. Except for saving Kagome from Sesshomaru's claws, Tessaiga only responds when Inuyasha wants to use it to save a human. When he declares he'll protect Kagome, the sword comes to life, and he cuts off Sesshomaru's arm while in full demon form. With Tessaiga, Inuyasha and Kagome start gathering the jewel shards, but they're not the only ones after them. The Thunder Brothers, demons who kill to get more shards, attack a fox village. One of the brothers, Montan, wears the leader's pelt, traumatizing the young fox demon Shippo. He wants revenge and thinks stealing Kagome and Inuyasha's shards will help. Shippo, though mischievous, fights using fox magic and doesn't really want to hurt anyone. Kagome senses this and helps him, getting Inuyasha involved. During the fight, Montan dies, making Hitten furious. Kagome uses Shippo as a bow to shoot Hitten's wheel, and he attacks them, seeming to burn them alive. Inuyasha fights on, thinking Kagome and Shippo are dead, but they're saved by foxfire from Shippo's dad. Shippo, now orphaned, joins Kagome's group, but staying in the past causes problems for Kagome's school and social life, so she decides to go home for a while, taking the jewel shards with her. When Kagome returns home, the demon mask she collected shards from comes back to life, causing chaos in her town. Luckily, Inuyasha shows up and defeats it once and for all. But since they got a shard from the mask in the present, couldn't they go back to the past and get it there too? Time travel can be tricky like that, but the bigger issue is that Kagome can't just stop her quest, since it could mess up both the past and the present. Meanwhile, an Oni witch named Urasu tries to revive Kikyo, using her remains stolen from her grave. She kidnaps Kagome to use her soul to bring Kikyo back to life. It works, but Kikyo isn't happy about it. She burns Urasu and attacks Kagome, who gets caught in their fight. As Kagome's soul goes into Kikyo, she takes control and manages to reclaim most of her soul. But Kikyo survives the fall from a cliff, and this messes with Inuyasha's feelings. He's torn between his desire to become a full demon and his growing affection for Kagome. While they're dealing with all this, they meet a traveling monk named Moroku. He's a victim of Naraku too. Moroku's grandfather battled Naraku and got cursed with the wind tunnel in his hand. It lets him suck up things into a portal, but it'll eventually swallow him whole, and the curse passes down to Moroku, leaving him with the same problem. To break the curse on his hand, Moroku needs to kill Naraku. If that doesn't work, he has to keep his family line going so someone else can try. So when Inuyasha and Kagome show up with their jewel shards, Moroku sees a chance to kill two birds with one stone. He's attracted to Kagome and her shards. With the help of his raccoon demon friend Hachi, Moroku tries to run off with Kagome and the shards, but Inuyasha stops him. Kagome notices that Moroku doesn't really want to hurt anyone and takes a risk by jumping toward his wind tunnel. Moroku stops himself from sucking her in. Even though Moroku cares about human safety, he's still a bit of a womanizer and tries to take advantage of the situation. After explaining his curse and why he's after Naraku, Moroku joins forces with Inuyasha, Kagome, and Shippo. They figure if they gather gather the shards together, they'll run into Naraku eventually. And they do. Naraku wants Inuyasha dead and the shards, so he teams up with Sessamaru, who still wants the Tessaiga. Naraku offers Sessamaru a human arm to wield the sword since he's missing one. Conveniently, as soon as Kagome's group recruits someone as powerful as Moroku, Naraku sends Saimyosho wasps to poison Moroku's wind tunnel, stopping him from using his main power. Sessamaru steals the Tessaiga and uses it to kill 100 demons with one strike using a technique called the Wind Scar. Our heroes are in trouble. Inuyasha can't beat his brother. Moroku can't use his wind tunnel, and even though Kagome's gotten better at archery, her attacks just annoy Sessamaru. During the intense battle, Kagome gets knocked unconscious when she hits a rock. Inuyasha, fueled by the desire to avenge her, manages to cut off Sessamaru's arm despite being weakened by his poison claws. In his weakened state, Inuyasha resonates with the Tessaiga and fights off Jaquin and his brother. Sessamaru, convinced that Naraku set him up, tries to kill him, but it turns out to be an illusion. Naraku isn't going down that easily. With the danger level at an all-time high, Inuyasha decides to protect Kagome by sending her back home. After a heartfelt embrace, he takes her shards and pushes her into the well, sending her to the future. Oddly enough, the well's mechanics are unclear. Sometimes Inuyasha can use it because of his connection to Kagome, but this time, she can't use it without a jewel shard. And that wraps up part 1 of this video series. Stay tuned for part 2.